words. Now let's see if that plays back. Now let's see if that plays back. Now let's see if that plays. All right, now to try that with a pop filter. Is back. Try that with a pop filter. All right, working. This seems to work. All right. So first off, open Clip Studio. Oh, right, the art glove. Gotta put that on. All right, paint. As well move the keyboard out of. Actually, it's probably best if I leave it here in front of me. I want to position that. There we go. All right, so white or full screen, Alt R, that. Yeah, I might as well do new. It's not like I'm not gonna go over the same freaking piece that I did in the first time, for the billionth time. Let's see. Import images. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Should be here somewhere. Oh, that's desktop, not downloads. Oh, Huey on tablet's not on. There we go. Now it should work. Oh. Why does it smell like Totino's pizza rolls in here? No, that's not it. I don't know. I should probably go out more often. Maybe I'd actually know what a smell smells like. Anyways, so the number one rule when, well, actually, let me preface everything I'm about to do. Oh god damn it! Again with the yawning. Ugh, why does this happen every time I'm recording? So to preface everything I'm about to cover, the number one thing with art is to not follow everything as gospel. With your own art, you should be taking creative liberties and trying new things and experimenting. Art itself is a matter of expression and creativity and having fun while creating what you want to create. So, following my tutorials shouldn't necessarily dictate what you draw every single time you draw for the next 10 years. That's what I did, and I didn't progress for the first 4 years of my art hobby. So, there's that. Don't follow everything as this, or don't follow everything I say as a rule book. Follow it as a suggestion. So, yeah. First of all, with most drawings, if not every drawing you do, if there's a human figure in there, what you want to do is, of course, start out with a simple line. Usually, it's usually in place of the spine. So let's say, yeah, I'll do a character that's excited or confident. So a slightly swerved, almost like, oh my god, why is this happening? Anyways, almost like if you flattened out an S and turned into like a press, that's what would happen to it. So that squiggly line, swerve line, yeah, line, just line that's curved, that's not straight. Next, what you want to do is you usually, well, for this part, I don't know entirely how to do, but what I personally do is I either go this way and do the torso, which this is probably the better option because if you do the head first, which is the other alternative option, you could often end up with a character looking like a bobblehead. But let's say, yeah, I'll just do a female figure real quick. And I just realized I'm already messing up the perspective. So yeah, there we go. There we go. Yeah. So for that, what you want to do for the torso is, of course, let me add that to a notes layer. What you want to do is for the torso, you want or the chest, you want to do a rectangle. Actually, I don't need to do notes now that I think about it because I'm speaking into a microphone. But what you want to do for the torso, chest, is you want to oh gosh darn it, I'm using size 10. Whatever. What you want to do is you want to use a rectangle for the chest. That gives you a basis for how to build the rest of the torso off. If you're doing female, then obviously you want to do a typical Apple Core-esque aesthetic. Usually, your typical female figure when you're drawing, when anyone is drawing, or at least anyone who, wants to do the standard kind of standard female figure in art. Again, female figure depends entirely on what you want, but I typically do start off with an Apple Core. This can be straight, which is completely fine. This can be curved, completely fine. I normally do straight, but it can be curved too. It really depends on what you want to do. For the oh my god, I'm like quite yawning. For the hips, what you want to do, if you're doing male, then you usually want to do a wide box to base the legs off of. But if you're doing and I just realized the character's way too large. This is my bad. I'll move that up to make up for it. If you want to do the hips for a female, however, because the male is like a thick, wide rectangle. But if you want to do female, what you'll usually want to wait a minute. Yeah, okay. So what you usually want to do is it's hard to explain. Like this, almost as if you're drawing undergarments for the skeleton of the character. In these two gaps where legs would be, you can insert either the standard orb or circle, which can be used to build a foundation of the legs off of, or alternatively, you could skip straight ahead and just immediately do legs, which circles aren't really needed for. I usually do it this method, but the circles work fine. Both of these work fine. As you can probably see, the torso on this example is a bit too tall, so I'll remedy that real quick. This is something that is really useful in Clip Studio, is that if you want to undo your mistakes, or something looks too... Oh my god, I'm yawning again. If you want to undo mistakes that correlate to a character being too long, what you can alternatively do, instead of undoing all of your progress, is you simply use the selector pen. And utilizing the selector pen, you can basically encircle and fill in everything that you want to select, use the change size, or transformer, whatever it's called, and you can simply just move it down, and boom! Now it works. It looks shorter, it looks anatomically, well, about as anatomically correct as my art can get. And, of course, this will... okay, then I guess I'm doing this. Of course... some things won't translate well. Sometimes it'll have completely ill-fitting things. As you saw with this, the front torso line did not fit up properly. So I had to fix that by redrawing it, and you usually want to zoom in to reconnect the lines. So what we have here right now is the basics in terms of the abdomen, the hips, and the chest with the thighs. This is the basics in terms of, well, the main parts, the easier parts. Now comes the harder parts, such as the shoulders, the forearms, the hands, and the head, which isn't really that difficult, but it depends on what you're going for. I'll move on to the head later, but wait, why did it? Oh my god, I accidentally changed it. Okay, there we go. Now let's start off with the arms. The number one thing that everyone should do, in my opinion, everyone should do with the arms is you absolutely should start with the ball socket joints for the shoulders. With drawing an arm other methods, in my experience, well, not other methods, just doing it without the ball and socket skeleton method, that is usually going to yield inconsistent anatomy and will not prove very beneficial with your final products. It will usually end up being inconsistent, and one arm will usually be thinner or thicker than the other, and overall it'll just appear um, unrealistic or unflattering to look at. So what you want to do is you want to do a large orb or circle to represent the shoulder, make it very large and very wide for a male, and more perfectly spherical for female. And for the elbow, you want to add another much smaller circle, and for the forearm, you want to do an additional line about the same length as the upper arm, if not a little bit shorter. Um, and there we go. And at the end of that, what you want to do is you usually want to do this. Do a line and extend that into, what's the word? Basically a rectangle that is wider on one end. What is that called? I forgot the name, but it doesn't really matter right now. The point with this is, what you want to do is form almost like a bucket shape for the hand, and you want to do this shape with that divides it into two fingers each. And additionally, you can do that. Really, with the fingers and the hand, what you want to do is you want to do as simply rectangular as possible to give you as much wiggle room with the fingers as possible. I'll expand in a moment upon why that's so important that you do that. But moving on to finishing up the arm, or doing the basics of the arm in terms of outline, what you want to do is, of course, as you'd expect, you want to do an outline based around this. It doesn't have to be based entirely around the circle. The circle is oftentimes too big, too small, too wide, too tall, or anything. So you can vary very greatly with this kind of stuff. But I'm going generally along the lines. And what I got here is a decent forearm and arm in general. It matches up nicely. Once you get rid of the circles, I'll get rid of the circles in a moment. I still have to do the other arm. It's one thing that I often do when I'm doing drawings. Is I usually take a line and draw it across the character at each point of the arm. That way, I know where the arm should be. Because when you're not since you're not always going to be zoomed out to the maximum, because when you're doing close, detailed work or just trying to get stability in your lines, you usually will want to zoom in more onto the canvas. So what you want to do is zoom out, form some lines, and give you a basis for where everything should be. Again, completely optional, but it does help significantly in my case, and it will probably help with yours too. So, what? Oh, oops, my bad. Didn't know that was a hotkey. But next thing you want to do is, of course, do the other arm. It's up to you. Whoa, what the? Oh, my bad. That was entirely my fault. I just realized I did it at the tip of the fingers and not the wrist. Yeah, there we go. So that's where that'll end, and I'll just I'll just stop commenting while I work on this real quick. It's just so it doesn't seem too cluttered auditorially. Alright, so now that I've got the line set up and I've got the outline finished on the forearms, that's pretty good to go. The arms are definitely rather long, but in general, this isn't really supposed to be an outstanding piece of art. It's simply supposed to be the basics. So, just ignoring the freakishly long arms, I'll get rid of the circles. Which one is the circles? I probably should have named these beforehand. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so now that we've got that, it's important that we work on the head. The head is should either be the number one priority or the the last priority. It really depends on how you want to do things, because the head can either make or break this piece of art. If you do it too early, then it could mess up everything, and you could put loads of detail into the head just for it to completely fall apart at the torso, or you could do it last and you're left stumped with a face you can't quite make fit for a head. All I'm saying is that either way, it's going to have its difficulties. So it's up to you which one you want to do first. You either do the head or the torso first. Both are going to have their challenges. Both are going to be a bit of a pain in the ass sometimes. But ultimately, it's going to be worth it because you'll have a good piece in the end, a good piece of art, something to be proud of. Now, we're working onto the torso real quick. I'll just I completely forgot that this torso was not finished. So real quick, I'll just do some regular, standard cleavage for the female figure. Nothing extraordinary, just basics. I'll just add that for when I add clothing. I'll add some additional details, so sinking of the abdomen, sinking of that. There we go. And of course you'll want to extend that so it doesn't look like Tracer or something from Overwatch or something bizarre where the character is like a crazy waistline or something. Or was that a different character? Anyways, the point being that now that I've finished up that, I can safely get rid of the torso skeleton. There we go. And of course, as you'll probably notice, the legs look really strange here because I probably did them a bit too early. So I'll fix that real quick. I will actually bring back the skeleton torso. Actually, oh, I could modify this. So this is another thing, is that if you have something that doesn't quite work out now in the middle of a drawing, is you can always make do and turn something into the skeleton for temporary purposes. And then you can redo that part of the skeleton matches up to, and it looks better. Ultimately, it looks better. This is an example. I have never really encountered this issue before. Well, not consistently at least, but it helps to, be on the go with this kind of thing. I'll work on the rest of the legs later, but this is the basics. And now we'll go back to the full torso and get rid of the outline so it doesn't look like it's wearing trunks or a diving suit. There we go. I'll also get rid of that because that. Wait, what? Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, I need one moment. I need to form a more clear transition between that. There we go, or less clear. Perfect. Again, this is not amazing. I could have done much better. In fact, looking at it, I think I'm going to modify it real quick. Yeah, there we go. That's a lot better. This is another typical mistake I usually make in that I lose track of where the body parts are, so the anatomy ends up turning out pretty wacky. So yeah, what you want to do is, if this ever happens, is of course do exactly what I did and take the layer and move it up, and then you fix it. That still looks a bit weird. What am I doing wrong? This is unusual. This doesn't usually occur. This will have to do for now. I'll just redo that one more time. Yeah, there we go. So, with that done for now, I'll work onto the head and fix these shoulders, because this character isn't supposed to be like the Hunchback of Notre Dame or something. Okay, there we go. Now keep in mind, crooked shoulders and uneven shoulders aren't necessarily a bad design. If you're going for a character that in fantasy setting that's like a brawler or an experienced veteran or something with combat-related experience, or maybe they're just like a construction worker that's really rough with tools, necessarily a crooked shoulder or some sort of shoulder irregularity, that would be fine. Anything's fine, of course, but it's up to you to decide what you want. But with the neck is also something that's very flexible. This is a bit too narrow of a neck, so I'll just change that real quick. The shoulders on this aren't very satisfactory, but I'll probably end up changing this either in the stream video or in post. It really doesn't matter at this point. This is more just a demonstration. But yeah, there we go. With the neck, that was that. The arms are looking a bit long too, but as you see, I fixed that. Next, what we're gonna do is the head. I'll work on the face later on, or maybe soon. I haven't quite decided. But with the head, usually what you want to do is start off with just a V, just a general V. This is a good shape for starter artists, beginning artists, when you don't have as much muscle memory tied to your hands that allow you to really pull off head shapes on the whim or on the go. Um, yeah, that's good. That's all right. But this could be better. Hold on, one moment. Yeah, that looks better. That looks better. I'll smooth out the edges. As this character is supposed to be feminine. So I'll just there we go. Just gotta there. Do the same for this one. Again, your character doesn't necessarily have to look male or female or feminine or masculine. It can look regardless of whatever identification or whatever it has. It can look any which way you want it to, and that's completely fine. That's up to you to decide. So here is sort of a basic human figure. Of course, the hands, the face, are still unfinished. There's no calves or feet. And of course, the left arm is still clipping through the cleavage. So I will fix that right now. I really should have named these layers before I did anything. There we go. Okay, so with that fixed, wait a minute. Yeah, I mean, it should be fine, yeah. So, moving on, I'll do the hands first. And also, I just realized I still have not gotten rid of the skeleton. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Might as well get rid of the line, too, as that kind of became pointless, as the character kind of lost its confident stance when I started working on the torso properly. So, I'll just make this an idle stance. With the hands, this is probably the most difficult part in drawing in my experience. And from what I've heard, it consistently is a challenge. There are some comic artists that are known for avoiding drawing hands and feet. Hands and feet are usually a difficult thing due to the fact that they're so small often and there's so many things going on with them. With a torso, there's 3 pieces. There's the chest, there's the abdomen, there's the hips. But with hands, there's 5 fingers. There's 2, 3 joints per finger. So that's 3 times 5, 2 times 5. So that's 5, 10. Wait, did I really just try and do math for 5 times 2? It's 10. There's 10 joints per hand, I think, per finger in total fingers. Man, it is. How am I brain farting this early? So yeah, reducing the opacity of the hand, that gives us more room to work on it, because that way it doesn't intersect with that. Do that, that, there. Now, of course, this isn't necessarily going to turn out fantastic. Unfortunately, of course, God forbid, it turned out fantastic, like my first video, which the audio wasn't recording. But I'll just do basics. I'm probably going to abandon this idea real quick, just because, because I'm not really familiar with that. Well, geez, I'm wording things poorly. I am familiar with that, and I use it quite often, but this, quite frankly, is just, for the sake of simplicity and sake of ease of time, I'm probably just going to do that. Whoa, that's way too big of a hand. In fact, you know what? I think I am going to work with that. With that, you probably want to, let's see, I have to modify that. It's not looking too good. There we go. Whoa. Okay. And immediately you can see why hands are a problem. There's a lot of consistency problems that happen. Yeah, there we go. It's starting to fall apart. I mean, it's kind of coming together. Yeah, as you can probably see, it's not coming along too great. Yeah, this is not going along too well. I'll just try and patch this up real quick. Yeah, this is alright. I mean, it's not bad. Yeah, it looks kind of good, actually. This is what you want to do with hands. Is one of the key tricks with drawing fingers is you don't necessarily have to make every finger connected by lining. You can, at times, if not oftentimes, just cut the line short and then continue the line halfway through the finger, as it gives a sense of, well, I don't even know what it gives a sense of. I just learned it from a friend a few months ago. But anyways, this is another trick you can do. Yeah, and then moving on to that, I'll just do that. and the thumb is usually the easiest thing to draw because, well, it's the thumb. It's one big frickin' finger, so it's pretty easy to draw. And there's a hand. There's a pretty not half bad hand. I mean, by my standards, it's phenomenal. Oh, that's the wrong thing. Yeah, that doesn't look half bad. Of course, there are some inconsistencies. This doesn't look too great, so in fact, I'll fix that right now. Actually, you know what? I think it looked better first. Yeah, I'll fix that too. The hand looks kind of broken and bloated, so I'll fix that real quick. Perfect. Well, about as perfect as I can get at this moment. Um, Actually, I think I can fix that even further. All right, come on, let's see. Yeah, that looks all right, I think. I'll just add a little black area like there to show where the thumb is. Yeah, that doesn't look half bad. Um, yeah, that's kind of an ideal outcome for such a quick sketch. Um, so there's one hand. And the other hand, this is where it gets, well, either really easy or really difficult, depending on who you ask. But oh, that's the wrong thing. There we go. So this is where it either gets really easy or really hard, depending on who you ask. It's really a matter of perspective. No, I mean like literally perspective, because some people are a lot easier at drawing things from behind. Some people are a lot better at drawing things from the front. This can entirely vary depending on your experience and your preferences. But for me, I honestly don't know. Now that I bring this up, I've never actually paid attention. So I'm just gonna go silent and draw it and see how it turns out. All right, let's see how this turned out. Yeah, it's not half bad. Of course, it's not ideal as the hand could use a lot of work, but in general, I mean, it's all right for a starting hand. Um, no, that looks weird. Why did I do that? Actually, hmm, maybe. Hold on a minute. This might actually turn out good. Another thing is that, just another thing that I struggle with personally is that you need to have confidence in your drawing, and I have confidence in my drawing. It's just a matter of me openly deprecating my art because that's kind of my comedy choice, my source of amusement and comedy is that I usually trash on my own art for the fun. I don't see a point in it, but it's kind of fun, I guess. I've grown accustomed to self-deprecating humor. But anyways, this is not very ideal, especially from this perspective. But yeah, this is probably not great. So I'm gonna try and fix it real quick. I'm gonna go silent again. Oh, I see what I did wrong. The fingers are facing the wrong way. This is another problem that I struggle with, and that I actually think I pointed out earlier, is perspective. Perspective plays a big role in things. What you want to do with this in this perspective is actually do the opposite of what I did, and you want to do this. There we go. That's much better. I knew something was off. Yeah, there we go. That's much better. I knew something was off. I just couldn't place it. There we go. That's much better. Holy moly. Wow. That looks good. Yeah, this is an ideal hand. I mean, of course you can add details. I don't know much detail in hands besides the basics, but this is honestly an ideal hand for the amount of time I put into it. Yeah, so that's hands, and moving on to the face. Also, a side note, real quick, is that with any art program, no matter what art program you use, you always want to constantly be saving your art. It could be 30 minutes or 30 seconds to a minute since your last save, and you want to save because at any moment anything could go wrong and everything could be lost or corrupted. So first of all, always have a backup save. So have, like, at some point when you've made a significant or decent amount of progress on it, save a backup. When you've made a lot more progress, save another backup. And do that same process every time you've made major progress. And also be sure to save constantly because, again, it's always good to be on the safe side. I've lost way too many drawings to power outages, losing connection, or not connection, losing, uh, what's the word? Losing, yeah, losing power, software failures, anything, any number of things could happen. Um, Even just Microsoft gaming software, like force installing an update and it closes every application on my window or on my computer. That's happened too, and I've lost like 3 hours of drawing. Um, so always be wary and always be saving. Also, you for most heads you want to do that little detail. Now moving on to the face. Um, Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to shrink the character a bit just to give us more room for work. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, this will probably allow me to use. Yeah, perfect, perfect. This lets me use size 5 now and lets me zoom in more. So when it comes to the head, you either want to use hair or face first. It's completely up to you, as with everything else. But personally, I usually do the face first. So another big thing you want to do with facial expressions and just faces in general is use the cross method. Usually use a red or blue line going across horizontally and a blue or red line of the opposite color of the color you did use to go across vertically. That gives you a sort of semblance of where the nose, the head, or the eyes, and the mouth will go. And I will demonstrate right now. Again, first of all, with eyes, or not first of all. Why do I keep saying first of all? Gosh. Um, Another thing is with eyes. What you want to do is you want to do this. For starting out, of course. Well, not do this, but if you don't have a particular style in mind and you just want to do the basics and work off of it, this is a good eye shape to work off of. It gives a lot of wiggle room. You can change the shape as you please. There's a lot of different ways of doing it. For example, you can make the sides bolder and do that. That can often end up with a style that I ironically got by somebody who blocked me. But that doesn't matter. You can do that, or you can do this, or you can do this, like this, that. So many different variations of this. It's a very versatile shape. But alternatively, you can do a lot of different eye shapes. You can do a human eye. You can do, or that's not a human eye at all. What was I saying? You can do like a human eye. You can do an animalistic eye. You can do, of course, the cartoony eye. You know, there's all sorts of things you can do. There's a lot of things you can do, and that's not even including, eyelashes, what's called eyebrows or eyeliner. All sorts of things you can do. Lots of cool things you can do with eyes alone. And that's why you want to really experiment with eyes, because you can make a drawing really pop with just eye color and eye shape and everything. But anyways, getting back to the drawing. What you want to do here is just try and make it nearer that. Keep in mind that this is supposed to be like a rounded head. So the character is not going to have the same same exact positioning of eyes. Like this is good, for example. They're not exactly symmetrical. They're more like this. And that's what you want to do. As for the nose is again completely optional. I don't usually draw a nose because most of my characters are alien or mutant species from my comic, which does not utilize noses very often, with the exception of like mammalian muzzles and lizards and stuff like that. That's one of the few exceptions. But the nose is pretty simple. It doesn't take a lot of effort, so you can just do that. That's a simple little nose. And if you want to add more detail, you absolutely can. You can do that, or you can do this, or this. You can do absolutely anything, and it works completely fine. It's really up to you. You can also add nostrils, but in my experience, it doesn't look too good. I'll just keep it as is for now. For the mouth, most artists just use a standard line, like standard line mouth. There's a lot of variations with the mouth. You can do lips, you can do no lips, you can do fangs, you can do all sorts of things. I've never really done lips before. Let me demonstrate. I have no idea what I'm doing. As you can see, it looks... No, it doesn't look good at all. Yeah, I'm not good with lips. I've never done lips before. So, I'll just do, a basic little, cute little face. In fact, I'll add a little, little tooth there, just for the fun. This is a design that I've used often in the plant person, or the cannibal, not cannibal. Well, kind of cannibal because they do eat vegetables, but the plant people, the plant race of plant people I have in my comic. The overgrowth, I'll just do that. Now, obviously, as you've noticed, this character has a big frickin' forehead. We're going to fix that by adding hair to the drawing. Hair is a very large variable when it comes to adding to the head of the character, and the head or the hair is extremely versatile. You know what? Actually, hold that. I'm going to test the audio. There we go. No, that's not it. I'll just do, a basic little, cute little face. Alright, that's perfect. It's still working. This is very good. So, next what you want to do is hair. Yeah, the hair is pretty simple. Why did I say, yeah, I haven't said anything important yet. Hair, oh, Jesus, I'm fumbling with words here. Hair is important because it's a large matter of expression with the character. In fact, I'm going to pull up some of my character examples real quick. Let's see. For example, let's see. Avery, here she is. So Avery is a character that's, very childlike, energetic, and unkept. She's very untamed in the way she behaves, and subsequently her hair reflects that. She has very wild, unkept hair, a lot of short and long ends, a lot of curls, and overall it's just a sense of wildness to her. This is an example of how to express a character's personality with hair. You can also do a lot of different details like ponytails, pom-poms, bobs, curls, all sorts of different styling and things you want with the character's hair. That's a good thing. You can do all of that and more. And that can really add to the complexity of the character's appearance. Because usually when you look at a character, you look straight at their eyes, mouth, and hair. That's straight where you look. Unless it's like League of Legends, in which case it's straight to the cleavage. But that's not the point. The point being that you look straight to the eyes when you look at someone. And that's no different with characters. Most characters. Some are different, some are designed to be not looked at in the eyes. But anyways, with this, what you're going to look at is the eyes and the hair and the mouth. Same as you would when you greet someone. You look at their teeth, you look at their eyes, you look at their hair. And what they're wearing. I'll get to what they're wearing later, but with the hair, gosh, I am really fumbling the words here. Anyways, to stop basically drawing this out because I can't help but do it, here is an example of hair. I'll loosen or lower the opacity of the head itself. That is not right. That's also not right. Which one is the head? That's the nose? Oh, good heavens. Which one is the head? That's the eyes. That's nothing. That's the head. There we go. Okay, I'll lower that. And which one is the cross? There we go. Okay. So lowering, there we go. Okay, this is all set. I'll just go for a typical, long hair. Same as Avery's, actually. This should be pretty easy. Just do that. Add some occasional spikes and curly ends and stuff. It looks pretty good. I mean, of course it looks good because it's hair. Hair looks good so long as it's not dirty. But that's not gonna go on another tangent here. Yeah. What you want to do is, or not what you want to do. I keep saying that, but not actually doing anything. Um, I'm not great with hair at the moment for some reason. Usually I'm decent with hair, but this seems to be I'm seeming to be drawing a blank here. Drawing a blank hair. Yeah, this is okay. With hair, don't be afraid to have like rounded areas where gaps can be because that's okay. That's completely okay and it's good. Um, Now let's turn back on the opacity of the head and see where that leaves us. Also, another thing to note is you do not leave the head's outline through the hair. That would look weird. Unless you're going for a hairband, in which case you can probably incorporate that, but leave out some of the head. There we go. Perfect. This looks good. This looks nice. Um, Now, another thing that I've noted that you probably noticed immediately is that the eyes outline is phasing through the hair. This is a stylistic decision with whether you keep it or not. If you want to go for your own style, or there's two different ways you can go with this. You can remove the eye outline completely from underneath the hair and give a sense of realism, or you can go a more stylized choice. Okay, hold on, I gotta find the eye now. And this is also why you organize your things before you do anything in advance. But yeah, you can do that and you remove that, and that gives a sense of realism. Or alternatively, you can do that and give it more cartoony or stylistic choice. Now this is good. This looks really great. This is again just the basics. I'm still yet to add clothing and coloring and all this and that, but that's not really the matter. Um, I'm just going to clean it up a bit, finish up this area, and then I will move on to clothing. Clothing is another big aspect of course, a big aspect of art, because you can't just be drawing every character butt naked or without features. Not to mention the line between the cleavage, which indicates a t-shirt or something. So, I will actually do a second outline for that. So, moving on to that, first of all, I'll do the character. I'll name her Clara. Yeah, Clara sounds good. And then I'll do clothing. Clara clothing. Clothing. Perfect. That's the dumbest joke on earth, but clothing. There we go. So, with the shirt, of course, most clothing, it's going to be pretty easy, honestly. You just pretty much just erase the prior outlines. Um, oh, this is going to be a pain. I can already tell. Yeah, this is good. This is good. So I'll get rid of that. With a T-shirt, I learned this the hard way through many years of not doing it until eventually doing it and realizing what I was missing out on. But with clothing, what you want to do is with clothing like T-shirts and stuff that have areas where they end off on. Obviously, you want to have a small little bump in the outline that gives you a sense of where the clothing will be. In fact, I'm gonna rename this right now, so I know exactly where to look. Because that's not gonna be fun to look for if I don't. Okay, here we go. And then, of course, we'll just add a little bit of outline to, give us more sense. There we go. That looks all right. It's a bit too large, so in fact, I'm gonna try and fix it right now. Now, another thing, speaking of things being too big, when it comes to art, is that now, of course, there are styles of arts. People have styles, their own styles that are accentuate the bigness of things. But it's also important to note that just because something is extremely big on a character does not necessarily make it a style. It could be simply making things big because it's more comfortable to work with. Um, and I just realized I also messed this up, so I will actually be using the line method to balance it out. I will be going back to torso. Where is it? There it is. I'm going to rename that to all caps so it's easier to find, even more so. Torso! There we go. Alright. Now I will erase that, fix that, write it back up so it looks like it connects again. And I will do this all over again to fix the line. I will do that. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. I'll reduce the opacity, and then I'll do torso. Now it should line up perfectly fine. Well, mostly perfectly fine, I think. Hopefully. Now, another thing with these clothing bumps is that you do not want them to be too extreme, or it'll end up looking ridiculous. One example of that, let me pull that up real quick. Let's see, where is it? Where is it? No, that's too far back. Where is the Avery drawing? Is it in downloads? Let's see. No, it's not here either. What? Oh, that's the Plains of Eden art that I used to use. That's the references. I'll be moving on to this shortly. That's a reference for adipose tissue. I can't see. Here it is. This is an old Avery design, and well, this isn't necessarily a bad example or a good example because well, it's very old, and I didn't really have a sense of how to draw clothes at the time. But one good example, one good point, is that these are way too bulgy. Like they look ridiculous, and plus they don't fit along the skeletal structure of the character. I can't find a good example. But yeah, you don't want it to look too extreme, especially with art when it comes to clothing realism. Again, realism doesn't necessarily have to be your final goal. You can go with more stylized or unrealistic, and that's completely fine because realism isn't for everyone, and it's a very limiting thing. Yeah, that looks a lot better. Still a bit large, though. I'll fix that again. But yeah, realism is very confining at times. It is a very gorgeous art style, but at the same time, when you go really realistic with your work, it also can limit you in your forms of expression with your art, because some things and positions and sizes, well, I have a few artist friends who actually pull off extreme sizes and positions really well with realism, but that's an exception. They've worked on art for a while. They're very talented. I can almost guarantee you they've gone to college for it. But my point is, realism can be very restricting at times, especially if you're newer to art. So don't try and force yourself to be realistic just for the sake of being realistic. Now, I will also add on to this. I will have to add a neck to the shirt that the character's going to wear. That's not the torso. What? Oh, head and neck. Has to be here somewhere. What? Okay, now I'm confused. Oh, it's probably below. What? I'm confused. I am confusion. There we go. Okay, there we go. There we go. And it's still not there. What? Okay, there it is. Renaming that right now. Shoulders and arms. Perfect. Now what you want to do with this is, of course, add a collar/neck to the t-shirt. Doing this will, of course, finish part of the design. You don't want to have a t-shirt that doesn't have a neck, because then it won't make sense how the character's wearing it. Unless it's like a dive shirt or dive suit or something, but that's an exception. Now, this is a bit unrealistic in the size, but I'm probably going to go for a more, I'm probably going to go for a more stylized form with this. Not to mention, I'm not particularly good at realism to begin with, so I don't think I could pull this off realistically regardless. Another thing you want to do is, God, why am I saying so much? What you want to do is, don't say it. Okay, not gonna say it. Dang it, I said it. Oh, well, I'll just keep saying, let's see. Yeah, that's what you want to do, is you want to have it like that. You also want to make it line up, of course, so I'll erase that. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. And obviously, you also want to work on if you were making this drawing, anyone else is making this drawing, you'd also want to work on this shoulder too, as it's a bit lopsided compared to the other. There we go. It looks okay. Looks nice. The shoulders are far forward though, so I will fix that right now. There we go. Nope, that's still not right. Uh, yeah, that's good. That's good. All right, so let's see. Oh, the leg is intersecting with that. One moment. And now I have to go find the legs. Oh, found them. Okay, I'll rename that to legs. And I will erase that so the thumb can be seen. And there is no thumb outline. Fantastic. I forgot the thumb outline. All right, let's see. Oh, I think I just, yeah, there we go. Oh my god, I really should have named these earlier. Which one's the hand? Which one's the thumb? Oh my goodness, which one is the thumb? Oh, it's probably below. No, it's not. Maybe it's further below. There. Oh, yeah, there we go. And I still have a eraser on. Whoops. Yeah, there we go. Nice and thumb-y. Yeah, just ignore I said that. Thummy. And I just said it again. Whatever, it's fine. So, here we have a character with a basic t-shirt. Still have to work in the sleeves, of course. And in fact, I think I'm going to trim down the shoulders. This character is supposed to be rather feminine. All right. No, that looks weird. No, that looks like the Sasquatch or some cryptid. Yeah, there we go. That looks all right. Still looks weird though. Why is it lopsided? No, it's. Oh wait, is it? I don't know. It doesn't really matter. All right. I guess I'm royally screwed up on that arm, but that doesn't really matter. The cleavage was just that basic lining. Actually, you know what? I'll just do a little bit more advanced. Not advanced. I mean just. Might as well do that. No, that looks weird. Whoa, it looks like veins or something. I shouldn't. Why does that look like that? Hold on. Yeah, that looks alright. Man, I have not drawn cleavage in a while, which is surprising considering how much I draw inappropriate adult work. And it's off center. This is another problem: is having everything be on center. Did I just see a muscle car not go by the street at 80,000 miles per hour? That's nice. That's really nice. Yeah, there we go. This should be more centered now. All right, perfect. Now to work on the sleeves of the t-shirt. This is another thing. Oh, the backup. I completely forgot to make a backup. There we go. Safe and sound. All right. Now to work on the sleeves. The sleeves are probably the more difficult aspect with clothing, is because you have to make it look like the arm is coming out of the actual clothing and not just the clothing is part of the arm, without it looking absurd, which is a bit difficult for me. Most of my art does not have good looking sleeves. in clothing. So it's really a matter of getting that unique little, not unique, that's little hot spot between too large and too thin of a sleeve for the shirt. Also, now that I think about it, I probably shouldn't do the folding of the sleeve. That looks weird. Now this is an example of doing too much curve. There we go. Yeah, because a shirt isn't just going to bulge outwards at the sleeves. It's probably it's not even probably it's definitively going to be very subtle because it's going to be like thin not fiber thin cloth not cloth. What is it? Cotton, something like that. It's going to be something like thin cotton. So that's not what you want to do. You don't want to have it be super pronounced. You just want to have it be subtle but present. A fart in an elevator or something. I don't know. That was a nonsensical joke. Why did I say that? But anyways, I'm not gonna regret that in 3 hours at night. But all right, that's too pronounced. Yeah, perfect. This looks good. So that's a T-shirt. This is pretty basic, but it looks good. Um, as for the legs, I don't know how to advise it. Um, my prior tutorials that I'm going to post probably will show how. Albeit they have no audio, but yeah, I might as well just color it in now. Um, yeah, this is how you do a basic human figure. It looks alright. Oh, the face! I completely forgot about the face. Wait, yeah, the face. No, I can probably just use it to color for it. Another really useful tool, like the holy grail of being an artist, is the fill tool. Everyone has heard of the fill tool. Everyone's used the fill tool at some point in their life. It's kind of like the ultimate invention with art. Let me find my typical purple. Here it is. Yeah, there we go. The Priscilla purple. And it is not working. Oh, that's because it's a folder. Oh, which part is not filled in? Okay, let's see. This is another problem. Is that it is going to... Oh, it's... I'm so stupid. Silly, not stupid. Whatever. Kind of stupid, but silly too. Here we go. There we go. Perfect. And also those aren't perfect, so I'll just... Another thing is using... What's this called? Clip to layer below. This is what that's called. This lets you draw on the layer below without worrying about overlapping and drawing into the canvas itself. This is really useful if you color things divided into different sections and layers, which is what I do most of the time, with the exception of well, sometimes. But yeah, it's really useful. It's super useful. This is pretty much how you color in things reliably, without having to worry about overlap. Might as well fill that in. Not even might as well. I have to fill that in. Another thing to watch out for with fill tool is that these little areas, these thin little corners and stuff, usually won't get filled in. So you have to be wary of those and fill those in. Otherwise, you'll post it. You're like, man, I made some good art today. And then like an hour later, you'll look back to see how well it's doing. And you'll be like, oh, there's giant white gaps on the sides that I didn't notice until now. Because unsurprisingly, when you have a canvas with a character that's completely colored, these white tiny specks become giant white blotches when you look at them from a colored standpoint. All right, there's that. And then I might as well color that in too. And of course, with this kind of thing, you can always add further detail. So like decrease the brush size and go even darker and do like this. This is pretty useful. The color is probably a bit too drastic in terms of tone change, So I will probably be changing that in a later version of this if I ever post this. But yeah, there's that, and then we can always add that to these. If you want to go for a sweater vibe, you can totally do this across the entire thing. I'll probably demonstrate that in the winter tutorial if I ever make one, if I'm ever prompted to make one. But yeah, it's really cool. It's really useful. In fact, this could technically go for a sweater. If you actually, yeah, if you add a hood to this, this could very well go for like a hoodie or a sweater. And of course, if you add further detailing to it, it can realistically fit the vibe of like a winter or fall clothing. And if you add more detail, like squigglies or lines or something going along the abdomen area, then it can really sell as a sweater. Um, yeah, so there's that. And I just realized the cleavage isn't finished, so I'll just perfect. And of course, also another thing to keep in mind is you have to color add a little bit change in the color to symbolize, or not symbolize, to demonstrate the clothing. There we go. Now I'm probably not going to shade this, but simply for simplicity and sake of time, but it's fine. And then also another thing to keep in mind is you also want to not make the neck look a giant muscle monster from that anime Baki. So yeah, that's probably for the best. Yeah, the neck is kind of scuffed on this one, so don't do what I did and make the neck giant. But you know, just be careful how you make the neck look, because now the character looks like a giant meat monster from Baki. Um, no, maybe I can salvage it. Well, I'm not gonna scrap it if I don't, but no. Now she looks ripped. Oh no. Nah, I'm not gonna. Maybe I could though. Ooh, maybe if I add like. No, that makes her look shredded. No, she's not shredded. She's like an average character. Okay, whatever. It's fine. She's got like a muscle man head neck. Or yeah. What's strong man neck? I guess. All right, and then for the skin tone, I'll just do that. And I just realized I completely neglected the clothing layer. Oh well, it's fine. For the hair, I'll just do. I'll do my own color. My own. Yeah, my own color. So brown. Um, yeah, it looks good. And then for the eyes, of course, we have to do white. Unless you're doing like a devil or something, and you can do otherwise. But usually you want to do white if you want to go just for a basic eye color. Wait, why is it overlap? Oh, oops. Didn't realize I'd accidentally pressed that. But wait a minute. What? Oh, gosh darn it! I did the hair and the skin the same layer. Oh well. There's no going back. Oh, there is going back now. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna go back. Whoa! Why is that? Oh, it's not. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Okay. First of all, do that. Then there we go. Perfect. And then do that between that. That's another example of how to layer things. Is you have like skin on the bottom layer, hair on the top layer, and then the eyes in the middle layer. That allows you to do the eyes without worrying about it overlapping, which can be a real pain when you want really precise coloring and all of a sudden you're like, oh, there's like 3 pixels that are showing on the other side. And of course, this is where the pupils or iris or whatever the heck they're called comes in. I'll just do brown again. I'm just gonna make this female me, I guess. Do cartoony giant eyes. Wow, that looks good. Oh my god, I did not expect that to turn out so well. But yeah, and then I'll just add eyebrows for the heck of it. Oh, I could use a fur brush. That's so. Why didn't I think of that earlier? Hold on. Let's see if that works. Let's see if that works. Ooh, I'm a genius. Oh no, that didn't work. 6 maybe. It doesn't get any smaller, does it? No, it doesn't. Dang, that's a shame. What's this? Oh. Yeah, I guess I'm not doing that. I'm just gonna have to go for standard. Of course, I'll. Oh, wait, there's still a little bit that isn't covered up by the eyes. There we go. Alright, and now, of course, I have to add eyelashes. And I'll just add a few freckles for the heck of it. I mean, I don't personally have freckles, but it's fun to add them. Alright, and that about concludes this so far. This will be the end of the stream for today. For legs, refer to the other video that I uploaded.